Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome. What's up, my fellow small business supporters? Welcome to Savvy Writes Books, Friday at 11 a.m. Central. Normally, we're doing a premiere at this time, but instead we're being live at this time. And I don't know where Monica is. So, oh, yeah, she's going to be here in 1 second. All right. Oh, here we go. All right. So, all right. Yay. Hello. So basically, what we're going to do is, so we've got me, we've got the Antibot. Well, okay. The over here, the Antibot, and over here is Monica. And the three of us are, anti-MLM YouTubers and, friends in this community. And we wanted to do a video together talking about our personal reasons for why this movement is important to us and why, like, what our kind of beliefs are on everything, and also do it live. And that way y'all in the chat can make comments and can ask questions and we can respond to them in real time. So if you guys have any questions about like what we do or why things are how they are, you can let us know there. So first, though, let's all introduce ourselves. So, Taylor, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Taylor. I run the channel, The Antibot. It's a completely anti-MLM dedicated channel. And I've been around since March, so not too long. I'm just getting my channel started. But yeah, that's who I am.
Awesome. How about you, Monica?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Is my mic okay?
I can hear you.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. So, hey guys, I'm Monica. I've been anti-MLM for quite some time, but didn't share my full-blown story until September of 2019 on my YouTube channel. And I was only going to share it one time and only make one video because I took an almost 2-year hiatus from YouTube. And then people kept asking for more. So I just kept going. And here I am today.
Fantastic. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm Savvy of Savvy Writes Books. Y'all are on my channel right now, so you probably knew that. But I am an author and small business owner, and I like to make videos about AuthorTube, about my life as a writer, about all of that. And then I also have the small business owner element. So I make videos about businesses and business scammers, because as I, started a business with my books, as I got more into the world of having my own business, it started to become clear that there are a lot of people out there who want to take advantage of creative people and small business owner type of people and all of that. So say hi to some people in the comments, and then we can start talking about kind of our personal journeys with all of this. So Mark B says MLMs are evil.
True.
You're not wrong. You're correct.
Accurate.
Jesus says MLM is a pyramid scheme by another name. All right, everybody's on the same page so far. I like this. It'd be fun if like a pro MLMer came in here and tried to argue. That'd be kind of fun, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. Someone did that when I did my interview with the Beachbody coach who had been coaching. So I did last week. Interview with the Beachbody coach who was part of the company for 7 years, who had just got out of the Beachbody cult. And then there was someone coming up in my chat that was like, everything she's saying is false. This thing isn't true because of this. And I was like, if you could link me to a source, then I'll believe you. But like, I'm going to believe her otherwise.
Yeah.
Bree says, hi, hello. Kat Benson is here as well. Hello to Kat Benson. And RK is here. Hello. What's up, friend? All right. So I guess if we want to start just kind of talking about our own personal reasons for why we joined this community. We talk about what I think is funny, right? Is like, so I made the thumbnail for this video and I titled it Our Anti-MLM Sisterhood, because in the MLMs, they're always preaching the sisterhood, right? They're like, you will have some sister, which is a cult thing. But beyond that, it's like, here's the community, all of that. But then like people thought that Monica and I were actually sisters because we kind of look alike and because we're both Polish Americans. And then like when I started collabing with Taylor, I was like, I feel like we're twins just because well, my hair doesn't look like yours anymore, but before I cut it, it looked exactly like that. And oh no.
Uh-oh.
I'm back. Sorry, my camera is on a weird timer. I'm still trying to figure out how to fix it. Anyway, and then I was like, what if we're sisters, but not in a pyramid scheme? Amanda Wagstaff says, good morning. Excited to listen while cleaning. Yay! I'm excited to hear you listening to us while you clean. That's so fun. All right, so I guess to get started, we can all kind of talk about like what it was about, because a lot of people think that, anti-MLM is very specific. Like, why is there such a specific community for trying to take down a very specific type of company? But we all have very important reasons for caring about this. And so I think we should all share those reasons. So just go clockwise. Antibot, talk about, why did you join I guess, how did you find the anti-MLM movement? Why did you join it? Why does it mean a lot to you? That kind of thing.
First off, can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay.
If
cool.
anyone in the chat at any point has any trouble hearing us, just let us know and we will figure it out.
Yeah, because I muted myself for a second and then I unmuted it. So I just wanted to make sure. All right. So how I found the anti-MLM community, that is kind of a long story. So I guess that it started several years ago. I had never really had any exposure to MLMs or knew what they were at all. I think like in high school, the most that I had seen of MLMs was like I got a letter in the mail after I graduated high school from Vector Marketing. I'm sure you guys have heard of that one.
Oh my God, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, like it's an MLM that preys specifically on people that have just graduated high school. And like are going into college and stuff like that. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know that it was an MLM. I just looked it up because I was like, oh, cool, like a job offer. And I looked it up and it was like, no, Vector Marketing is a scam. Do not join. And so, but I didn't know that it was an MLM. And I guess fast forward a couple years, when I was in college, I actually had a family member get involved in Young Living. And, at first they were kind of really talking up Young Living, kind of how a lot of MLMers do when they first get involved with their MLM. They're really excited about the opportunity. They're talking about how Young Living and their oils, all the health benefits of them, and how they were going to be making $10,000 a month and they were going to be millionaires. And at first I kind of was just like, okay, I mean, this seems kind of, I'm not really sure about this, but I mean, I guess I'm happy for them. I didn't really think much of it. And they actually were going to, me and my husband, they were going to make a downline for us in Young Living. And basically it was just so that they could like have a downline and be able to purchase products for themselves. But I'm not exactly sure how it works, but they were still able to like make it look like it was sales or something like that. And then once the downline made a certain amount of money, they were going to hand that over to us. And they were telling us how this downline was going to be able to pay off our college debt and all that kind of thing. So we kind of were like, oh yeah, like this is awesome. Like this looks cool. And then kind of as they continued to get into Young Living and started making more and more health claims and talking about how these oils could cure cancer and all that kind of stuff, I was like, this kind of seems sketchy. I'm not really sure about this. And so I researched into Young Living and I found all of the police reports from the founder, Gary Young. He had been arrested for practicing medicine without a license. He had drowned his newborn baby in a bathtub trying to do a water birth. And I found
so gross.
Yeah.
I cannot believe people that this guy has been, well, I mean, he's dead now, so. But still.
Yeah. So, and like, these are all police reports. These aren't just like random blogs from people.
Yeah.
Like, they're actual, like, legit facts. These things happened. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like, wow, this is crazy. And then I started researching into MLMs and I found the John M. Taylor study that shows that 99.6% of MLMers make no money or lose money. And I was like, wow, this is not good.
Yeah.
This is not good. So that's kind of how I got initially into the anti-MLM community. And then my husband started a YouTube channel that was primarily for atheism and talking about skepticism. But he also did some anti-MLM videos as well. And so I helped research and write some of those videos. And then finally, about a couple months ago, I was like, I'm going to start my own channel and get my own voice out there.
I'm so glad you did.
That's where I am.
I just looked up. So Taylor's husband is Genetically Modified Skeptic. I love his channel. So it's funny. I found these two independently of each other and didn't know they were married. And I was like so excited when I found that out. So I just put it in the chat. So her husband made a video about Young Living called I Almost Joined a Cult. And I just looked it up and it has 1 million views.
Yeah, it has
literally 1 million views. So guys, Taylor and her husband's story has 1 million views on YouTube. That is amazing. I have never known anyone who's had 1 million views until now. Good for you guys.
I mean, I think if you like just search Young Living, in YouTube, I think it's one of the first videos that come up. It's like the biggest video about Young Living. So even bigger than like Young Living's actual videos. I
love that. That was like me the other week. When I realized that my video about Rachel Hollis's divorce suddenly had more views than like her marriage tips videos did. And I was like, yeah, it's coming up on 100K, which is like, that is not 1 million views, but it's the most views I've ever had. So, MCS Maria says, MLM, another name of something to dupe you out of your money. Accurate, definitely. And then Bree says, I found Antibot from Genetically Modified Skeptic. That's awesome.
That's I did too.
So I had someone, why is my internet keeps freezing? I hope nothing happens. Okay. So I had, Angel LeMay is here saying, hey ladies, hello. Yeah, I had someone email me and someone had just ordered stuff from my business, Forever Home Friends, and someone had emailed me asking about like if I could customize it. And they were like, by the way, here's how I found you. So I was a fan of Genetically Modified Skeptic and I was watching his videos. And then I started watching his wife's videos because he shouted her out. And then you did a collab with her. So then I found your channel through that. And then I went on your channel and I was like, oh, this is very cool. I love seeing the process here. And it's also, that's just good to know how people find you. But I was like, that's really, cool. RK found Antibot from me. This is fun. Okay, we're all like, we're all promote each other. I've had so many people in my comments being like, Savvy, I found you from Monica or something. Because Monica and I have done so many collabs together that people are like, I was watching Monica's channel and then I found Savvy and I was like, okay, cool.
I mean, that's how I found you, Savvy, was from Monica.
Yeah. Okay, so we met in Monica's Facebook group, I think.
Yeah.
So I actually, when I first started like wanting to make any like anti-MLM videos, I actually came across the Young Living video of Drew's video. And I remember watching the Q&A and I was like, oh my gosh, she's making her own channel. And then I saw you request to join my Facebook group and I was like so excited. Oh my God.
Well, so yeah, I had just been watching Monica's videos just because I was looking for other anti-MLM channels to watch. So I started watching Monica's channel, and then I put up a video about something, and Monica commented on it, and I was like, oh, dude, this is that girl I watch on her videos, and now she likes my videos. This is so great. And then we became friends. Like, I just love this shit. This is great.
Yeah, YouTube.
Bree says, I found Savvy today from this live stream. Yes, I love this. This person says, OMG, I never knew Genetically Modified Skeptic had a wife who does anti-MLM content. Yep, and she is right there. Oh, and RK also found Monica from me. Okay, dude, I love this. We're all this is great. I love it. This is wonderful. Great, and so that's awesome. I guess Monica, kind of, if you could just give some background on your story. Also, like, because and yours is pretty well documented on your channel, but Monica is a former Beachbody rep who is here to spread the good word of why you shouldn't do this. Yeah.
So the first time that I ever had a run-in with an MLM was my parents joined Herbalife when I was much younger, and after that happened, and that was church. So when I was younger, we went to church all the time and stuff, and they met someone through that community, And of course, it was a Polish church, so they trusted a little bit more than they probably should have. And then when I was graduating from college, I got an email about vector marketing, and I ended up going to this building, and I texted, or no, I didn't text my dad. I think I called my dad, and I was like, hey, so this is the location I'm at right now because it looks super sketchy outside. And like the people were really nice, but I mean, the office was super sketchy. And then when I was working full time, I had finally found like my big girl job, is what I called it. And so then I met a Mary Kay consultant. And so then her and we met up, and she gave me a free facial in the middle of donuts. And somehow this girl can sell ice cubes to an Eskimo. She somehow got me to get one of the most expensive starter kits so that it would start me off at the Sapphire rank, which is a higher rank. I spent over $1,000. Did not make any of it back. I was my best customer. And I sold to one of my friends who's like pro MLM. She's been in a ton of MLMs before. Really great girl, but obviously I don't agree with the MLM portion. And then a few years later is when I decided to try Beachbody as a customer, because I had seen someone on my Facebook who lost a ton of weight, and I had gained, I think I gained like 50 pounds or something like that between like the span of just like, I think 6 months or something. And so I wanted to lose the weight, and I did it, and I did really well with it. But of course, we all know that there's a lot of issues with the portion control containers and all that. But I did lose the weight, and then I genuinely wanted to help people who felt the way that I felt before I went on, I guess you could say, like my weight loss journey. And so that was my whole thing for signing up. But right before I signed up, I actually asked my upline, I was like, is this one of those pyramid scheme companies? And she was like, no, it's not a pyramid scheme. Those are illegal. And I was like, okay. So I joined, and I spent every waking second of my day that I had, besides working my full-time job and then having my blog, because my blog was actually making an income at the point. So any other free time that I had was dedicated to just Beachbody. And yeah, I made Success Club within the first 2 months I made Success Club, but I mean, it really, like, I didn't really make anything off of it because I made money in the first 2 months, but then the rest of the year, it was like nobody. So I really, with like the PB, with having to buy Shakeology and like having to buy all of these different workout programs when they come out, because we have to be the product of the product kind of a thing. Yeah, I ended up losing money, and I ended up losing a lot of my time, to the point where my fiance told me, he was like, listen, I'll support you in whatever you want to do, but I don't think that this is the right thing for you, because you're stressed out for no reason. You're not making any money. So, and then I wrote about my experience on my blog back in 2017. And then I wrote about it again in 2018 because I had gotten myself out of credit card debt. So I kind of talked about how I did it. And in there, I even said, do not join an MLM. It'll put you in more debt. And then I came across a bunch of videos on YouTube. It recommended to me. And I watched Savannah Marie's video, and then Genetically Modified Skeptics videos popped up. And then from there, it was just like nonstop. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to share my story and just leave it at that. But like I said in the beginning of this stream, I'm still here making videos.
Well, I'm glad you continue to make videos, because your videos are some of my favorite.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, what I love about Monica's videos is she also does true crime. Mm-hmm. So it's fun. I feel like, everybody in any YouTube genre, if it's like you can't just make like one thing, I feel like, because then you're going to be the same as someone else's channel, and you want to, have your own thing. So like, it's like Taylor does like, anti-MLM and like, you know, cult studies and like dives into the history and is very well researched. And then Monica does like anti-MLM and true crime, so it's like the criminals and all of that, and I do like anti-MLM and small business, so it's like we all got our own thing, which is cool.
Yeah.
I like that. And okay, so RK says it sucks they target college kids desperate for or with a ton of debt. Yes, yes, they do, and it's bad. Also, everything I know about Herbalife is from betting on Zero. I like that documentary. I wish it didn't focus. I mean, it was interesting that the guy was focusing on shorting the stock, but I thought that like I would have rather had a documentary solely on the effects of Herbalife on people. But instead, like they had that stock plot that was going on, which was interesting. But I would have watched 2 separate documentaries for that. Amanda says, I found Savvy through Monica after falling down the anti-MLM rabbit hole one night after a Beachbody coach was trying to recruit me and had sent me a link to a video, and from the one that followed it was Kiki. Oh, I love that. So like they're like, here's a video, and then YouTube was like, up next, here's someone talking about why that video was a lie. Carissa says, hi everyone. Hello.
Oh, so Carissa is the one. She's the reason why I have my outro, by the way. In case you didn't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Great. So I guess for me, like, if we're going all the way back, my first experience with an MLM was when I was poor in the 90s.
Puggles. Sorry.
I had to pick him up because he was like digging.
Hi, bud.
Oh, I wish Chewy would come in here, although he doesn't quite fit. He will sit on my lap, but he doesn't really fit there.
Yeah, Puggles is small enough. He fits pretty well.
Although later today, we're taking Chewy to my parents' house. He's going to go play with his best friend, Wrigley. And he is in the car. He's like, oh, I can sit on your lap in the car. So my first experience ever with an MLM was when I was poor in the 90s. I was probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old, and my mom sold Arbonne as her 4th job. So my mom was like working 4 jobs and got recruited into Arbonne. I don't know that much about what happened with that because I don't think she ever recruited anybody, and she doesn't like ever really have that much to say about whether the experience was good or bad. I think it was just like a thing that happened. But I really liked their multivitamins. I would eat them for breakfast and they were delicious. So I never have any shade for my mom. She's wonderful. But yeah, so that was my first experience with one. I didn't really know what it was. I was just like, oh, this company makes the tasty chewable vitamins. But then after that, I would see commercials on TV about like sell Avon, and I was like, shit, is this what my mom did? This doesn't make much sense. And then when I went to I recently posted a video about this called I went to an MLM job interview by mistake, which I did. So that was my next was when I was looking for a job in college. And I just so y'all know, I've never been a part of one, but when I was looking for a job at the end of college, right before I graduated, I put my resume on Career Builder, and I was, struggling to get anyone, trying to recruit. Like I was like, I'm trying to find a job, y'all. And I would apply for jobs and not hear anything. And then I got an email from this company that I had from Career Builder. And they were like, we want you to do an interview with us. And I was like, oh, cool. Thank God. Someone finally wants an interview. So I decided to go to this interview, and I did a full video on this on my channel recently, but it was this company. And when I went there, it was like super shady. And I went into this weird lobby where there was no buttons to go up the elevator. And then I finally got up to the top floor somehow. And then there was like all this like under construction stuff in random rooms and places. And it turned out to be that like they were trying to recruit people. I think it was part of Smart Circle. Like I think it was one of the companies that was like went all the way back up to that, because they were like, okay, so we want to promote someone to management within 4 months, which was really code for like, we want you to have a downline. So it was like they were doing that, and they wanted people to sell like like go to door and try to sell discount T-Mobile services or something. And then you get it downline and then you do that. And then like you go into Costco or whatever. It was like that whole thing. And I was like really upset about this. And I started looking up like Glassdoor reviews, and I started looking up reviews for other companies like this because I was realizing how deep it went. And then I was like thinking about how I thought it would be cool to try to, this was before, oh man, 1 second. There we go. Sorry. So this was before there was any anti-MLM community on YouTube. This was like 2015. And at the time, I wish I'd done this at the time because I could have been the first anti-MLM YouTuber, but I wasn't. Someone else jumped on that first. But I was like, I should make a YouTube channel for this because I wanted to like go to these interviews undercover and try to ask questions to expose them and that kind of thing. But then I realized that Illinois is a 2-party consent recording state, so I would have gotten in legal trouble for that. So I abandoned that idea. And then, so after that, I kind of like, I would just sometimes like read people's stories of these things just to be like, so I'm so glad I dodged this bullet. And also just because I found it interesting. And then when I started my own small business, I started Forever Home Friends in 2017. And I made this small business where I wrote books about rescue dogs. I got stuffed animals made, and I started making toys, and my mom started making toys. And like, we had this cute small business of books and plushies and toys. And we were going to craft fairs. We were going to festivals. We were going to conventions. We were doing everything that we could do before there was the virus, and now we can't do any of it. But that was like our whole thing, right? And it was just so frustrating because some of these events would have an MLM rep just roll up, right? It would be like, I'm here at my table trying to sell this. And I was getting annoyed because I'm like, the average customer here doesn't know the difference. They're like, okay, here's this person selling their handmade jewelry. Here's the paparazzi jewelry rep selling it for $5. They don't know, like, they're not thinking, oh, wow, this person put all of these hours into hand making each thing versus this person just bought into a company. It's just like, oh, here's two, like, because you're a customer walking through the fair, right? So it started to annoy me. And then for customers that did care about handmade stuff, the more MLMs that were showing up at craft fairs, the more people were just not coming because there were not going to be as many legitimate artists there. And it was getting me really annoyed, especially when I found the company Usborne Books, because I was like, I do not want to compete with another book company when I'm actually the author of these books. So I started, like, when people would come to my table, I would talk to them about the books, and they'd be like, okay. And then I would be like, oh, also, I'm the author. And I would just say that, and people would be like, whoa, that is so cool. And I was like, in the past, I thought that would have gone without saying. But now that there's like the Usborne rep across the aisle from me who's selling other people's books that they bought into, it's like, okay, that's, so like, it's like I had to suddenly compete with that. And it was frustrating to me that this was happening. And it was a whole mess. I think there were so many problems with it, especially I think the one that finally like made me snap was at Christmas time of 2018, I think 2017. I went to this this church art fair because, dude, church craft fairs around the holidays, you can make good money at those. So I was going to one of these bigger church craft fairs. And when I applied for it, it said this is a juried art show. And I always looked for juried art shows because that's how you knew, right, that there was going to be a judge evaluating it. And that the assumption is you made all of this yourself. This is your own business. You, even if like, I mean, I don't hand make the books, like I don't bind them myself, but like, I write them, I do the art. And like, so it's that kind of thing where like, they're making sure this is your own creation. So I applied for this and they were like, yes, come to it. And then when I got there, yes, I was happy that the majority was people who handmade their own products, but there were also 4 MLMs at this. There was Avon, 31 Bags, LuLaRoe, and Usborne Books. And I was like, why the fuck is Usborne Books at this event? Why do I have to compete with another book vendor when they did not create those books and you said this was juried art show? That's not right. So I was getting really frustrated. And what I've noticed is that like a lot of customers didn't actually know that these were MLMs because they thought this was a craft fair. So they just assumed those products were made by those people. Like my mom saw the 31 bags lady and she thought that she made those bags. So she was like, oh, that lady's bags are really cool. And I'm like, she didn't make those. She bought into that company. And like, that's not her own thing. So I got really annoyed with that. And as a small business owner who was putting my whole life into running a business, I was getting really mad at how people were saying that MLM was the same thing as running your own business. And I'm like, it's not. Like, I decided it was also taking advantage of people who did want to do their own thing, but didn't know how to get started. So that's kind of when I started. The first video I made about it was like, MLMs do not belong at craft fairs. And that video was mostly just me like ranting about my bad craft fair experience, but a lot of people liked it. And then I guess I got deeper into anti-MLM videos when, because my biggest video on my channel when I was a book review channel primarily was my Girl Wash Your Face review. And I had so many problems with that book. And then I saw that Rachel Hollis, the author, had spoken at the Beachbody conference. And I was like, wait, this book that I hated, the author of this book I hated also did the thing that I hate. And so I had to make a video on that. And people liked that video. So from there, I started talking more about my experiences with these things and people seemed interested. So that's kind of my just general experience with it.
So I actually, I know that the Antibot kind of like disappeared, but before I forget, I just wanted to say that's actually how I found your channel, was because I like the whole craft fair thing, because I had a similar experience, and that's why I made my video and shouted you out in it, because I had a similar experience, because obviously we have our own CBD brand, and yeah, and like we went to like this holistic health fair. They had Young Living, they had HempWorks, they had another MLM there, and it was just so frustrating to see that. Mm-hmm. Like when we have our own brand, we created everything on our own, and I think I have a customer coming in, so I'm gonna have to mute my mic in a second.
That's okay. I can take some comments while we do that. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like that was like Monica made a video about MLMs at craft fairs. Okay, that's fine. All right, y'all. So yeah, Monica. See, look at Monica. She's over here being a legitimate small business owner. She's like, hold up, I'm on a live stream, running my own YouTube channel. Time to go talk to my customer. Look at that. That is some real small business right over here. She is legit. Okay, wow. I'm fascinated at what's going on in her store right now. Anyway, let's take some comments. So Kat Benson says, live from the highway. Yes. I like that Monica's store is on the highway, even though there's like some truck noises. I think that's kind of fun. So yes, Chewy and Wrigley Playdate. Oh wait, Antibot's back. Yay!
Hey, sorry.
Hey, that's fine. My internet was freezing randomly, so I think it's like sometimes StreamYard's just weird. Yeah. So that's what I was saying. Look, Monica had to like go address a customer, and I'm like, look at her being a real small business owner,
a legitimate small business owner.
Legit, yes. RK says, I really can't get over how cute Antibot's dog is, and whenever he looks up and his little snout gets in the camera. Oh,
yeah, he is very, very cute.
He's a cutie.
I love him.
I love him too, and I haven't even met him yet, but I have met him over Zoom, so that counts for something. Bree says, that's the worst. There's so many MLMs at fairs, and my boyfriend doesn't know them by name, and I subtly point them out every time. Yeah, I started doing that to my mom. I would start, when we would go to craft fairs, and this is fun, because I got my mom into the anti-MLM thing. She previously was, I don't know, she was like kind of pro MLM, because she like just kind of thought it was like a side job people could do, but I started getting her into it once we were at the craft fair. So now she's like, yeah, they shouldn't be here. But so now I circle around the fair when we get there, and I'll text my mom like a triangle emoji with like the number of them that I saw. I'll be like, 4 triangle, and my mom will, yeah.
I know like some craft fairs are starting to make it so like MLM companies can't be in them, which I really appreciate because I think like just them allowing MLMs kind of gives them legitimacy and kind of puts them on the same pedestal as actual small businesses, which they are definitely not.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention, like, before I made my video about this, I had posted in the Anti-MLM subreddit. So I made a post that got big on that subreddit, and it was like, I'm a children's book author. Here's my thoughts on Usborne books. And it got big. So I had given my whole rant about that craft fair I went to, and how the Usborne books was taking up space at the craft fair. And a lot of people, like, it was the coolest thing. This community was great. I got like hundreds of comments of people being like, DM me your link to your business. I want to look at a real small business. And it was so exciting. But I was also like, if I start being like, oh, hi, hon, I'll DM you the link. I didn't want to feel like that kind of person. But
I mean, well, I think that's like part of what's important about the anti-MLM community is we can be like, hey, these are not legitimate, but here are some legitimate ones that you can support. Yeah, I think that's an important aspect.
Oh, yeah, RK's like, oh, shit, Monica is the CBD company. I remember her interview on your podcast. Yeah, I've done a couple interviews with Monica. I know we did the really fun one where we were cooking together. You are muted.
Sorry, yes. I said that was fun.
Yes, that was fun. So we did one where we were cooking, and that one's up on my channel. I released it, I think, in January, so it's up there from a while ago, as I have too many videos. I have like 300 videos. But yeah, so we did one where we were cooking together and interviewing each other about the differences between MLMs and small businesses, and it was a lot of fun. Notes from Autumn says, it's crazy how people don't see that joining an MLM is nothing like owning your own business. Yeah, it is so different. It is so different because it's like when you run your own business, and guys, in my newest book, hold up, I'm going to plug myself real quick. In my newest book, #Savvy Business Owner, coming out September 8th, 2020. Stay tuned for pre-orders, but it is up on Goodreads. You can add it to your to-read list. I have a chapter in there in that book that breaks down how joining an MLM is different than running your own business. All the ways that it's different, because in an MLM, you don't have control of your supply chain. You don't have control over your price points. You have someone who is in charge of all of that. And you don't have control over your territory because people can recruit one another all in the same area. So that's kind of, there's all these problems with it. Bree says, that's the worst. There's so many MLMs at fairs and my boyfriend doesn't know. Oh, wait, we talked about that already. Yeah, sorry. Cat Benson says, looks like okay. Monica, what was the animal in your store?
Oh, it was a sugar glider. So my friends, they rescued, hold on, where am I? My friends rescued 2 sugar gliders and they're a bonded pair. So, and they're leaving the state. So I told them that I'll watch them, so that they just brought them back here. I thought it was a customer, but it was actually them. But yeah, they brought me the sugar gliders to watch them. So
that is so cute. I love it.
They're literally like these little, like, I usually don't hold them because they'll like actually jump and I don't want to deal with that. So I usually leave them in there and let them play with them when they come back.
B. Luz, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Tell me if I said that wrong. B. Luz says, I found Savvy from Taylor and I found her from Drew, who I found from Telltale. I found Monica from Savvy. I love hearing the chains of how people found each other. I also love Telltale's channel. I found Telltale from Mr. Atheist, I think.
I found him from Genetically Modified Skeptic, actually.
I think Telltale was like the first one that compared MLMs to the bite model. I think he's the one that kind of introduced that. And then Drew did that from him. So
yeah. BX Beast Boy says, this is informative AF. Thank you. I love BX Beast Boy's channel. I found him because he was doing some videos about Micah Stauffer around the time that I was like going off on why I hate her. So
I really like his profile picture.
Yeah, it's so cool. Katie Pfeiffer says, glad to hear that some fairs are cracking down on this. Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah. And that's the thing is like, it's so annoying because I guess I don't have to deal with this anymore because we're all inside, we're all social distancing. But back before this virus had taken over the world, I was in a bunch of Facebook groups for Chicago vendors. And it was like people like finding different fairs in the area because I was trying to go to a fair every week if I could, just to sell as much, because in-person sales was what I was doing best at, and now I do better at online sales, but that took a lot of adaptation. So anyway, yeah, I would go into those groups and I would like post like I'm looking for a fair to join, or like there would be like someone advertising, we're gonna have this fall festival, come register if you want to sell your art here or whatever. And I'd be like, oh, that's cool. And then in the comments, someone would be like, I sell a paparazzi. Like half of the people sold paparazzi jewelry. I don't know why everyone sold that. It was like 90% of people sold paparazzi jewelry. And they'd be like, sorry, we already have 2 paparazzi reps for this. And I would be like, what? I thought this was a craft fair. And so then if somebody would post one that would be like, no MLM or direct sales, I would be like, oh, I want to join. And then someone would comment and be like, I sell Tupperware. And they'd be like, yes, but there's no direct sales allowed at this. And they would be like, why not? It's like, because this is an art fair. Tupperware is not art. I'm sorry. I'm sure it keeps your food nice and fresh, but it's not art. I'm sorry. I'm not the art police. If some like hipster out there wants to convince me that Tupperware is art, I'll listen. Brittany says, what's the best way to approach people and friends who use MLM products or are unaware of what's really going on with MLMs without them shutting down? This is a good question. I'll let you guys answer this because I think this is hard too.
Oh, man. I don't know. I think, is it just someone who they're using their products, but they're not in the company? Or are they in the company?
I think that's what's a different, yeah, because like I know people who will use the products, and in that case, if they, I usually just make fun of them, which I know is not the right way. But it's like you're not in the company, so people be like, "Oh yeah, I bought this LuLaRoe or whatever," and I would just be like, "That's pyramid scheme," and I'll make fun of them. And then every time I see them, which is actually, I have 2 pairs of LuLaRoe leggings, and it's because I've gotten them for free. I've never bought them from the company, but I got 2 pairs. One somebody bought me, and the other one was there was a LuLaRoe lady at the craft fair, and she was giving out other vendors her leggings for free, which was very nice of her. So I'm not going to shade her. She was a nice person, but I'm like, okay, I'll take the free leggings. So
I have a pair of LuLaRoe leggings too. They were given to me. They're bright pink with a bunch of little airplanes on them, which I like the airplanes.
That's cute.
Yeah.
But so it's like if someone is paying money for MLM products, I'll just make fun of them. So like my mom bought me LuLaRoe leggings before she knew what LuLaRoe was. And so I was just making fun of her for it. And I mean, I think it's thank you for the leggings though. Thanks for buying me something. Like that's a kind thing of you to do, but I'm also going to make fun of you for this.
I think it's kind of like a difference between if they're just like buying the products because they're not like super invested in the company. If they're an actual distributor, that's kind of different, and they're probably kind of gotten into the culty aspects, and it can be harder to tell them what's actually going on with MLMs when they've already bought into what the company is saying.
Yeah, I would say, what about, because this is a good question though. What about if somebody is joining the company as a seller? What do you guys think is the best way to approach them and try to help them see the problems with it?
It really depends. I feel like it depends on how invested and indoctrinated they are, because the more that they're part of this MLM, the more that they're just going to spiral down into the commercial cult, like, in my opinion. But yeah, because like I know that for me, when I was part of, not necessarily Mary Kay, because Mary Kay, I wasn't as serious about it as I was with Beachbody. Like Beachbody, I thought that was going to be like my 6-figure income job, and like I was going to be able to quit my full-time job. But with Beachbody, like if someone were to say something to me, I was one of those people that was saying, oh, pyramid schemes are illegal. I was one of those people. So I think that it really all depends. It's kind of a sensitive topic, especially if it's like family or like close friends. And I'm sure, Taylor, you know about family and MLMs. So yeah, I would just say just give them all the facts that you can, but approach it very in like a kind manner. I wouldn't off the bat be like, you're in a pyramid scheme. I would say just like think about it and be really just kind about it, I guess. That's what I would do.
Yeah, don't say you're in a pyramid scheme or you're in a cult, because they're automatically going to be turned off by that and probably get further into the cult, because that's just how people work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like there's certain, you got to find what the certain objections that people are already trained to respond to are, because at least I've known, like when I worked in sales, which not in MLM but in sales, there was always here's the language you use when someone uses this common objection, and I know MLMs have a lot of the same thing where they're like, they have a script where they tell you if someone says this is a pyramid scheme, you say this to them. If someone says this is a cult, you say this to them, which, I mean, that should be a red flag in and of itself, that they have to tell you. If someone tries to claim that you're in a cult, here's how to tell them that you're not. Like, most jobs, they don't make you do that. But, but just because people already are trained with comebacks to those things, I think it's helpful to look up the things that people are trained to respond to objections with, and then bring up things that are more specific than that. So like, do you track your expenses? How much per, like, do you have a spreadsheet with how much you're spending per month? All of that kind of thing. Have you tracked how many hours you're working versus how much money you brought in for those hours of work? Because a lot of people, and I will admit, as a small business owner, I definitely make less than minimum wage when it comes down to how many hours I put into my business. But like, that's because it's my own creation. So I would rather be doing that than like a hobby or anything. So I'm fine with that. But I mean, if someone, I get, maybe it's just a difference in worldview, but I don't see how someone could be that level of passionate about like selling someone else's product. But maybe they are. Maybe if you're passionate about sales, you could also recommend like other sales jobs to them that are not part of an MLM structure, because they're out there.
I would say like the majority of people involved are not passionate about sales. Like they don't want to actually be salesmen, and they don't realize that this is what this is it's selling and recruiting. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. But all they see is the dream lifestyle and everything that they are promised at the end of it. They don't see it for what it actually is. Yeah.
Donna's Crafty Creation says, I didn't realize Stampin' Up! And Chalk Culture were MLMs until recently. I prefer to support my friend who has her own stamp and die small business. I have to take a stand against overpriced MLMs. That's cool that your friend has a business for that. And I know I've known people who were part of Chalk Culture. I've seen them at fairs and stuff. And to an extent, it's like, I guess it's cool that at least you're making your own thing with it. But it's still like the business model is still exploitative, you know? But I think that's cool. That I think it's important. Support your friend's small business. I love it. Oh yeah, so the video where we made the cream of wheat and Monica made the chicken pot pie. Okay. I'm never making cream of wheat again. I remember why I ate cream of wheat as a kid, because dude, it's cheap. So I get one $2 box of cream of wheat and it makes like a month's worth of meals. I see what the appeal was, but here's the thing. It's nothing. It's like eating cardboard. It's nothing. And I like the taste of it, but I was getting depressed. Like it was affecting my mental state because I would eat it because I made the whole box of it. So I had a cream of wheat for weeks. So I was just eating it for lunch every single day so that I could get through it and not spend money. And I was so exhausted and I was so depressed and I had no motivation or energy to do anything. And after a while, I was like, maybe this is because cream of wheat has no nutrients in it. It is literally just putting matter into your body for cheap. It is giving me nothing. And so I stopped eating cream of wheat, and I can never go back now that I realized what an effect it had. I was also fairly depressed as a child, so I wonder if the cream of wheat was part of it. Oh my goodness. Sugar gliders. I'm glad everyone likes the little creature. Donna says, I know a couple of crafters in the UK who have left Stampin' Up because they were having to spend so much money to keep up with the latest, to do tutorials, and unable to use other brands. That's interesting. You know, I'm going to pull this up because I don't actually know about Stampin' Up. That might be like, is that a UK based one? There's a new MLM coming out every 5 minutes, and it is hard to keep up with. But let's look at Stampin' Up. So here's Stampin' Up. You know, I'm going to do a video on this because I found this in Monica's Facebook group. Someone posted in Monica's Facebook group that there's an MLM called Savvy Fit. And I was like, you do not get to use my name in your MLM. That is unacceptable. So I am going to expose them. So anyway, this is Stampin' Up. I see. See, the craft ones, I see why people join. Like, they look kind of fun. I like doing this craft kind of things. But, like, it's all about them. Oh, yeah, join. Let's see if we've got any red flags here. Make a difference. How? Bring people together. Are you a party person? Okay, you can host a craft party without this. You don't need this to host a craft party. Run your own business. Kill me. Fucking kill me. The Stampin' Up! Home office provides the support you need to run a successful home business. We send you a quarterly magazine and weekly emails, whatever. Okay. Wait, giving you an opportunity to contact your... What is that? If you run your own business, nobody gives you the opportunity to contact your customers. You can do that whenever you want because you run your own business. What? Earn cash and rewards. You'll earn 20 to 25% on every sale. Okay, that's ridiculous because if you run your own business, you will earn 100% of minus expenses on every business. This is wild. It's just $99 starter kit. It's the mark of an MLM. If you got a $99 starter kit. Well, thank you for telling us about Stampin' Up. Now I will know to avoid that. RK said, oh, that I was dominating at in-person sales. Thank you. I was. I won't lie. I was good at in-person sales. Online sales were a learning curve for me. But this Monday on my channel, I'm putting out a new video called 5 Ways I Adapted My Small Business to the Quarantine. So in that video, we're going to learn all about how I adapted from being a business that focused on selling in person to having to be a business because of the virus.
Hey, did Savvy freeze?
She's frozen for me.
Okay, she's frozen for me too.
Savvy, no, come back.
We'll never let go. Yeah, she's definitely frozen.
Let me message her.
Okay.
Okay. She says her internet's down or something. So hopefully she'll be back. She said my internet froze. But anyways, yeah.
So we've taken over Savvy's channel.
Yeah.
Let me try to go through the chat and see if there's anything that we can answer because I have it on my Well, I don't want to go through it because she's going to go through it on the screen anyway.
There was one that was kind of interesting. Taylor Barnett said, it's interesting how no one ever leaves an MLM happy about the decision.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Yeah. I don't think it's kind of, that should be a warning sign to you. The fact that every single person that leaves an MLM, like they're never happy about that. It like never worked out for them. It was always either they're like super pissed and think MLMs are cults, or they're just like, oh, I made no money, so I just left. Like there's no like, unless they're still in the MLM, there's no like happy story or happy ending with any of those.
And another thing too is that I've gotten so many people that ask me, like they'll DM me because they came across like a video or something like that, and they'll ask me, how do I leave my MLM? And it's like, if you're in an industry where you don't know how to leave, and it's not just like how if you work at a 9-to-5, because MLM reps, they hate 9-to-5s, but you put in your 2 weeks and that's it. Whereas like with an MLM, like I know that when I left Mary Kay, it was a lot more of a process because my upline kept trying to get me to stay. And then same thing with Beachbody. Beachbody, I gave it more chances than I should have than like with Mary Kay. But if you have to reach out to someone and ask them, how do I leave the MLM? I think that should be a red flag. That's like, if you don't even know how to leave something that you're losing money with, like that's kind of worrisome.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially because it's like, it's not just leaving your normal job. Like for the job that I left a couple months ago, like, yeah, I put in my notice and, oh, Savvy's back.
Sorry, y'all. That was, oh my God, we got a super chat.
Yay!
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I don't know how much that is. What is PHP? Oh, it's $1. Awesome. Thank you, though. I appreciate that. No, super chats are excellent. I really appreciate that. You're awesome. Thank you so much. Sorry for interrupting. I just wanted to feature the super chat. But yes.
What were we? We were just talking about the comment that says it's interesting how no one ever leaves an MLM happy about the decision. And then Monica was bringing up the fact that like when she had to leave hers, like it wasn't just like you put in your 2-week notice and you leave. It's like you don't even know how to leave it. And it's just, with normal jobs, you just put in your notice. Like the job I left, I put in my notice and I'm still on good terms with mostly everyone that I worked with. But if you leave an MLM, it's like you're having to, it's like your entire life is getting torn apart basically. And anyone that you were friends with, like a lot of those people don't want to be friends with you anymore because you're not in the MLM. It's not just like leaving a job. It's a lot more traumatic, I feel like, than that.
Yeah, you get shunned.
Yeah, you get shunned. I mean,
this comment. Here we are.
You get shunned.
Yeah, that comment.
Awesome. I also like this. Cream of wheat was always whack. Quaker Oats was the best alternative. And maybe you should put multivitamins in cream of wheat. And yeah, I put M&Ms in my cream of wheat. That was a weird thing I did as a kid. And I talked about this in the video because when I was a kid, I would see the cream of wheat bowl that my mom made, and I would be like, "This is so boring looking. I want to add color to it." So my mom gave me some M&Ms to put in it, and so I put them in, and I stirred them and made a rainbow. And
I used to add either like jelly or maple syrup and then swirl it around because that was my breakfast a lot of the time. Nisa.
Oh yeah,
she's one of my mods.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, dude, Monica's group is so big it needs mods now. Your Facebook group is huge. I love it.
Thank you.
I like this question. What are your thoughts on why so many MLM companies are in Utah?
I actually did kind of a video about that, but a lot of MLM companies have a lot of ties with Mormonism, and Utah is known for, like, a lot of Mormons live in Utah, especially around Salt Lake City, and the regulations have been really lax in Utah historically for MLMs, so that's why a lot of them are there.
That's interesting, because I knew that there was a connection with like Mormonism, and some people. So if you're Mormon, I respect you. I don't have whatever beliefs that are best for you. I've just heard some people saying that Mormonism, who have left being a Mormon, have said that it felt like a cult while they were in it. And so I didn't know if there was some kind of connection with like, if you were used to a community that acted that way, that used similar behaviors as cults, and then you went into an MLM, it would seem normal to you because of that. I didn't know if that was part of it.
Yeah, and MLMs, like, just because Mormons are very community focused and they're really used to missionary work. And a lot of what MLM is kind of like missionary work. You're trying to spread the good news, quote unquote, to everyone that you know. And so there's kind of used to that. And so going into an MLM, it's kind of like doing the same thing, except for with products.
Yeah. And I've also heard that, like, and if anyone here is Mormon, you can correct me if I'm wrong about your beliefs, but I've heard that Mormons are really focused on having lots of kids and having a mom be home with them. And so often there's the struggle there with, like, you have a lot of kids, but you want to stay home with them as the parent because that's what your culture is telling you should do. But it's hard to raise a lot of kids on one income. So it's like, okay, now we need a second income. And then the MLM person swoops in like, hey, what if you could stay home with your kids and also make a second income at the same time? And that's how people get roped in. And even though you end up losing it. Oh, okay. Amanda said, "Am I frozen? Am I working? Am I okay?"
You're working now. You were frozen like a few seconds ago.
Yeah.
Oh, now you're frozen again.
Hello.
I can hear you clicking. Utah Mormons.
I feel like I can hear her, maybe?
Yeah, I can kind of hear her like clicking, but I can't hear her voice. Well, Utah Mormons and a lot of stay-at-home moms, the Utah government is heavily influenced by the church here. You can go to the store and see a lot of MLM cars. So I actually had a few people reach out to me who are Mormons. And because I had mentioned in one of my videos that I wanted to research the correlation between Utah Mormons and MLM companies and all of that. So a few people reached out to me, and it's a lot of them. The reason why I haven't made that video yet is because a lot of them were kind of coming from an opinion standpoint. And I feel like it's going to take a little more because I don't want to upset anyone because it is a religion and I don't want to offend anybody just because I don't understand your religion. Like, I'd rather understand your religion, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And also because I've been very vocal about not being religious. So that's why I don't want people to be like, you have no idea. Because I can take the MLM reps all day, every day. That's easy. But when it comes to religion, that's a little iffy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like with my video, it is kind of difficult because obviously, like, I'm an atheist. So I'm speaking about the ties between religion and MLMs. It can be a touchy subject. And I don't want anyone to feel offended or feel like I'm not accepting of them, because obviously anyone from any religious background is welcome on my channel, and I wanted to make that clear. But yeah, a lot of it is kind of more opinion based, and there's not like a lot of statistics that we could bring up about that. But I think the thing that bothers me the most with how MLMs use religion is that they're using something that's really, really important to people, and yeah, really, really important to them, and using that against them almost, and using it as a way to make sales, you know? And so even if you are religious, I think that is something that should bother you.
Yeah, and that's like going back to my first ever experience with MLMs, and that was Herbalife with my parents. Like how I said that they got recruited at church, and it's because like my parents are immigrants, and so we found a Polish church because going to church, at least in my family, was like super, super, super big, which is probably why I hate anything about that now. But I was like forced to go to church, but. And we went to a Polish church because we wanted to kind of find a community, and my parents wanted to find other Polish people because it's obviously easier for them to speak Polish and English. And then like they met this one woman, and she always had like the Herbalife pin. She always had like all of the everything that had to do with Herbalife. And so she pitched my parents, and my dad was like super on board with it. And my mom was kind of iffy about it because she was like, isn't this kind of like a pyramid scheme?
Yeah.
But my dad was like all for it. And then there was something that happened that my parents don't like me to talk about, but there was something that happened, like serious thing that happened, and that's why we stopped selling, or my parents stopped selling it. But yeah, it's when it comes to that, it's just like you said, it's because they're looking for community, and
Yeah.
they trust you because you don't think that people that you go to church with are going to scam you.
Yeah. And they're not trying to scam you. They don't realize it's a scam, but it unfortunately that's kind of what they end up doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, my internet keeps freezing. Apparently, I froze in a cute pose, though. I didn't know that. I like that.
You did.
Yeah.
You were like this.
Oh, cute. I'm glad I didn't freeze like doing something weird. But yeah, I don't know what was going on with my internet, but I need the internet to work because after this, guys, immediately following this stream, what happened to me?
Oh no.
Oh my god, I'm a mess on the internet today. Immediately following the stream, I'm going to be streaming with RK, who's in the comments, my friend RK Gold. We are going to be streaming on his channel because the two of us are writing a novel together right now, and we are live streaming from start to finish, the whole process of writing our novel, like all the outlining, all the writing, all the outline, the chapters, everything. So we're going to be streaming on his channel at 12:30 Central.
12:30.
So in like 25 minutes, we're gonna be streaming that on his channel. So we're gonna so I need to be streaming for that too. So, but if anyone's interested in watching us write a novel together, and because it's fun, we take feedback from people in the comments as we're doing it, and we talk about it and develop it, and it's gonna be fun. It's called Cancel Sean Boston. So if that's something you're interested in, just know that 23 minutes from now, we're going to be doing that. MCS Maria says, as a mom, what bothers me is that MLMs target moms. They manipulate stay-at-home moms and make working moms feel guilty. I agree.
I talk about that all the time because it pisses me off. I always see, and it's always a whole, well, don't you want to stay home with your kids? And they like freak out if you say that you have a career and that like you have a nanny or that your kid goes to daycare. They like, that's like not allowed. They freak out about it. Or they try to make them feel as though they're not contributing to the family. And I use this analogy all the time, but I'm like, you don't have to contribute with your with money because, and I say this all the time, like you're with your children and little Jimmy is throwing a temper tantrum because you won't let him hold a can of peas in aisle 5. Like that's enough contribution to the family. You have to deal with screaming children all day. That is just enough contribution.
Yeah, and it especially like it capitalizes on the fact that women cannot like historically women have not like, it's like you can't win, right? Is like you're expected to be a perfect mom and make a lot of money because otherwise you failed at life. And it's taking that concept that has made life difficult for a lot of women and is capitalizing on it. It's like, oh, we have this perfect thing where it's like you can both be a perfect stay-at-home mom and make a lot of money. And it's like, that's not true. No, you don't. But they're trying to, and it's just like praise on whichever way that that you're not doing right now. So even if you're like a very successful business owner, they're like, well, you should be at home with your kids. And it's like, if you're at home with your kids, they're like, well, you need to make money while you do that. Mm-hmm. And it's so bad. I hate it.
It's a lose-lose.
It's awful when faith communities are used to recruit people into MLMs. I'm glad Monica's parents were able to get out of Herbalife. Yeah, me too.
Thank you.
Monica also has a great video about religion and MLMs. And I feel like Taylor has a bunch of videos about this. I have no videos about that, but you guys both have videos about it. All right. So, oh wait, Jess is here. Sorry, Jess says, I am so freaking late. I'm listening in the background while I drive. Yay! Yay, we're the car radio for people now. Don't listen to political commentators on the radio. They'll just make you mad. Listen to us.
I listen to YouTube videos when I'm driving or when I'm cooking, especially when I'm cooking, because I absolutely hate to cook. So when I listen to someone, it makes me feel like so much better, especially if they have like a calming voice.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I listen to them while I'm like putting the dishes away, because otherwise I'll forget to do the dishes and then there'll be like nasty stuff growing in my sink. All right. Well, so we've been streaming for like over an hour. So if anyone has any questions or any final thoughts you want to ask, feel free to put them in the comments. Otherwise, we will probably wrap up within the next couple minutes or so. But I'm so glad to do this stream with you guys.
It's long overdue.
Yeah, well, because I love, you guys are some of my favorite people to collab with. I can't show this book in full yet because its cover hasn't been revealed. Cover reveal for #SavvyBusinessOwner, my new business self-help book, is coming. August 8th is going to be the cover reveal, so next Saturday. But on the acknowledgments page, I have a shout out to Monica and Taylor, my sisters in the anti-MLM community, for collaborating with me on YouTube and teaming up to help spread the word against multi-level marketing companies in favor of real small businesses.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I'm very excited for that, and yeah. Well, thanks so much for doing this collab. We need to do another one of these. I feel like this is a lot of fun. And it's fun because here's the thing, guys. If anyone tries to tell you that if you want to have close friends and you want to join the sisterhood, you need to join an MLM. You don't have to, because we joined the anti-MLM and we became friends from that. So you can make friends in the anti-MLM community instead.
Yeah. And our friendship is not contingent on us being in the anti-MLM community.
Exactly. Literally, yeah. And also our friendship will never be contingent on us buying things from each other or like us giving each other money. Like, I will shout out Monica's business and that kind of thing, but I have never bought CBD oil, and it doesn't matter because it's like we're not each other's customers, we're friends. Yeah. And that's why it's a lot of fun here. And if for some reason either one of them stopped making anti-MLM videos, I would still like them.
Yeah. We'll be friends.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Thank you guys for streaming with me today. Everybody, please make sure, I think everyone in the comments is probably subscribed to all three of us at this point, but if you're not, please make sure you are subscribed to Monica and to the Antibot. Donna says, I enjoyed this chat. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everyone who came in the comments and left us a question or left us some thoughts. I really appreciate it. Cool. So let's just do a little outro. Monica, tell us about your channel. This is what I do on my writing streams when we all leave the stream. It's like, tell us about your channel real quick again before we leave.
Okay, so before I do that, though, I just want to say, I don't know if you realize, but Savvy, you and we match blue and green, and I don't know if you know.
We do match.
I have some blue.
I like your t-shirt. I don't know what's on it.
I don't even know. A sun and waves.
Oh, it's pretty. I like it. But yeah. Well, so it's funny because when Monica dyed her hair purple and blue, I was right there with like, oh, here's a picture of back when my hair was purple and blue. We literally look more alike than ever.
So my channel. Okay. So I do a little bit of everything. I do anti-MLM, I do regular true crime, and then I also have like a playlist of, I call it my hybrid, and it's anti-MLM with true crime. So it involves someone, what's the most recent? Oh, so the most recent one I did was Paige Barkfeld. She went missing and then her remains were found later on. But she was a Pampered Chef MLM rep, and she was at the tippy top of the triangle, and but she still had multiple other jobs. So, and it's a really sad story, but that's just like an example of the most recent one. And then
that one about Amway was cool, where like there was a murderer who was at the top of Amway or something. I forget which one it was.
Well, there's Green River Killer. There's also the Barbie and Ken Killers, and then
I think it was the Barbie and Ken Killers. That video was fascinating. Y'all need to check out. I just think it's cool when you're like, not that, no, crime is not cool. Do not do crime. But what is cool is when Monica makes a video that's like, here's an anti-MLM that is also connected with a crime. Like, I find that so interesting. Oh, that's such an interesting niche to have.
Yeah, and then I did a recent Free Britney video because, you know, free Britney.
That was important. Everyone should watch that one because I am worried about Britney.
Yeah, there's more unraveling, and I haven't made an updated video, but yeah.
Yeah, everyone should know about it. Great. Antibot, tell us about your channel.
So my channel is the Antibot. I guess I just had a video that went live about an hour ago.
Ooh, I gotta put it on my playlist to
watch.
It's
a good one. It's there's this, I'm not gonna mention his name or his channel name just for legal reasons, but there's this network marketing trainer who is reviewing a certain popular, oh, I don't know if Savvy went away, but a certain popular anti-MLM YouTuber. And yeah, he's reacting to her. So I did a reaction to him and blurred out his face and everything because I don't want to direct traffic his way. But yeah, that just went live like an hour ago.
Awesome. I'll be excited to watch that. I just added that to my watch playlist. Awesome. Yay. And I am Savvy of Savvy Writes Books. On my channel, we talk about life as a writer and a small business owner, which includes exposing the scams that some people are trying to rope actual entrepreneurial or creative people into, because that is not cool. I am the owner of Forever Home Friends, a series of books and plushies based on real rescue dogs and their journeys to getting adopted. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I'll see y'all again soon, but in the meantime, don't forget to support small businesses. Mm-hmm. And this was Monica reporting to you from Highway. Bye, friends.
Bye. Bye.